Experiment 16. In this experiment we use copper sulphate to detect the presence of water in a gas flow. At first we see here 3 different samples of copper sulphate. The sample in the middle consists of large, faceted bright blue crystals. This is copper sulphate pentahydrate, as crystallized from a solution. The copper ions are hydrated in the solution before being built into the crystal lattice. Size distribution can be controlled by carefully handling supersaturation during the growth process. The sample on the left is an anhydrous copper sulphate. It can be obtained by heating and grinding copper sulphate pentahydrate. Then the bond between the copper ions and the water molecules are broken. While finding their way to the crystal surface, the water molecules will cause partial dissolution and recrystallization of the copper sulphate. This is called sweatening. The result is a powdery, polycrystalline material. The sample on the right is the same white copper sulphate as the left sample, but after exposure to air containing water vapor, the color then turns from white to light blue. We cannot expect the reaction product to exhibit the same morphology and color as the first sample, because we already knew that the anhydrous copper sulphate consists of very small crystals. Furthermore, we cannot expect the color to be as bright as the sample in the middle, because the reaction with water will take place only at the crystal surfaces. We will now use white copper sulphate to detect water in an airflow. In a horizontal glass tube, a bit of copper sulphate is locked up between small pieces of cotton wool. An airflow is let through the tube with help of a water jet pump that is connected with the red hose to the left end of the glass tube. In the beginning, dry air is passed through the tube and the copper sulphate thereby remains white. Then water is heated in a flask and the water vapor is let through the anhydrous copper sulphate. As the experiment proceeds, we see the color of the sulphate turn into light blue. The video is somewhat speeded up. In the right part of the screen, we see 2 enlarged details. The conclusion is that water in gas flow can be detected by copper sulphate. The reaction equation. In copper sulphate, the copper ion can hydrate according to this equation. Note that the reaction is reversible. Dehydration occurs easily upon heating.